Disclaimer, I really enjoy CinemaSins. I'm only pointing out their mistakes.
Why does the cartoon version of the house and the logo look so different from the actual house? It's a beautiful house. Use that for your stencil.
Okay, so how is this a sin?
McAllister's put lights on the trees across the sidewalk, surely prompting lawsuits from the dozens of kids tripping on the wires.
Two things wrong with this sin. One, there's nothing in this movie suggests that the McAllisters were the ones who put lights on the trees across the sidewalk. Two, no one was shown walking on the sidewalk tripping on the wires.
Look, I know it's chaotic and all, but you're telling me not one of these kids are paying attention to the uniformed police officer in the middle of the entryway?
I'll let the Birdman handle this.
The audience is being shown just how callous and aloof this family is, which sets up the premise of the film. The fact that you don't get that, but will spend the next 15 minutes complaining about how unrealistic it is for them to forget Kevin is sinful as shit.
Go pack your suitcase.
Who the hell would let an 8-year-old pack his own suitcase? If I did that when I was 8 years old, it would have been full of only red vines and comic books.
I understand the red vines, but comic books? Jeremy, you don't know shit about comics.
Also, Kevin later fakes a giant Christmas party and creates a torturous series of traps in his house, but packing a suitcase is just too overwhelming.
Jeremy thinks an 8-year-old who is capable of faking a Christmas party and setting up torturous traps in his house can pack his own suitcase, which is retarded.
All kids, no parents. Probably a fancy orphanage.
Harry forgets that he just saw a full-fledged adult walk by and ignore him 2 minutes ago.
Jeremy thinks orphanages don't have adults.
You're what the French call les incompetents.
Angela clearly got a hold of an English to French translation book, but this is the best insult she could come up with.
Jeremy sends something random cliche.
If he has something to drink, he's gonna wet the bed.
Everyone is giving this poor kid a massive amount of motivation to wish to spend Christmas alone.
Yeah, that's literally the point. If Kevin wasn't left alone, we wouldn't have a movie.
Is it true that French babes don't shave their pits?
C'est raciste. Also, what is Buzz worried about? He's 14 years old and looks like Biff Tannen's nerdy little brother. I don't think he'll be getting any during his French holiday.
Jeremy makes an inappropriate comment cliche.
Murdered his whole family and half the people on the block.
How come the cops don't arrest him?
Not enough evidence to convict.
I realize this is 14-year-old logic, but do they really believe this asshole killed his family and half the block, but there wasn't enough evidence for conviction?
Yeah, why the hell would you think a 14-year-old would know anything about laws or convictions? Seriously, Buzz is a dumbass.
Not only is this reckless driving, it'll definitely lead to the pizza toppings getting all shifted to one side. And then there's a cheeseless side, and everyone suffers because this asshole didn't notice a stop sign.
Jeremy has never heard of driving on a slippery road, which is literally happening right here.
Buzz is cramming this in his mouth like a Neanderthal here, but a second later is eating pizza like a normal human being.
Jeremy points out things on the screen cliche.
Did anyone order me a plain cheese?
Oh yeah, we did. But if you want any, somebody's gonna have to barf it all up. Because it's gone.
Look, I had an older brother in real life, and he did plenty of older brother things to me, but even he thinks this movie's older brother is about 3 steps too far.
Okay, that's just your opinion, and your opinion does not count as a sin.
Even though Kevin's dad is concerned about the safety of the plane tickets, he immediately discards one of the tickets that just happens to be Kevin's. At this point, I'm starting to think they actively want to lose this kid.
Or maybe Peter was too busy cleaning up the milk from the other tickets that he didn't notice that he threw away Kevin's ticket by accident.
Rather than take the opportunity to come back to the kitchen and case more of the house, Harry is apparently hanging out and shooting the shit with the pizza guy at the entrance.
Jeremy thinks that a police officer has the right to go about his business in someone else's house without their permission.
McAllisters elect to use their most terrifying Santa as the one that greets you at the front door.
You know, Jeremy has put out so many things on the screen while saying something random. This prompts the creation of a new cliche. Jeremy puts out things on the screen while saying something random cliche. It's worth 10 cents.
The kid from across the street doesn't get home alone by his family even though he's left the house. Maybe his parents actually care about him.
Yeah, and then the movie would have been about him. But it's not. Therefore, this isn't a sin.
Did you count heads?
Yes, she did. Instead of counting faces, she counted heads, leading to this entire movie's events.
If Heather counted faces, she would have realized that the ninth kid she counted was the Murphy kid and would have told Kate about her mistake.
Hope we didn't forget anything.
Kevin apparently got into Mom's Valium supply last night to be able to sleep through the commotion of 14 raucous people getting ready at the same time.
Kevin was sleeping on the 3rd floor, so it could have made sense that he didn't hear his family getting ready and then leaving him.
Kevin unknowingly ingests a heavy stimulant and spends the next several minutes tripping balls.
Sitting this scene.
What teenage boy keeps his porno mags right at the top of his footlocker? Your mom will totally find that. Hide it under your filthy mattress like everyone else.
Yeah, but Kate hasn't found Buzz's porno mag, so why the f*** is this a sin?
It's only 12:30 p.m. Central Time, and they've probably only just flown over New York, but it's pitch dark outside this plane because the movie forgets how to time zone.
American flights to Paris from O'Hare leaves in the evening, meaning that's how the sky should look like in late December.
Forget this robber's knowledge of the neighborhood. I'm much more interested in why these three neighbors all have their outside lights timed to come on 15 seconds apart from each other. It's almost like they knew someone would later be narrating and timing their turn-on-ness.
The sun just went down, so it would make sense for the timers to come on almost the exact same time.
Kevin screams so loud he breaks the fourth wall.
Sitting this scene.
I couldn't get anybody.
I'm sorry, Kate. Nothing but a bunch of answering machines.
If the phone lines are down in their neighborhood, how was Leslie able to get to their answering machines?
The phone lines were down in the neighborhood until an electrician came by to fix them the previous morning, so that's how Leslie got to their answering machines. Also, Jeremy didn't know that in Scene 28 he literally showed a scene of an electrician fixing the phone lines.
There's no one home. The house looks secure.
This asshole says the house is secure, even though Kevin didn't lock the door as he was running away from Marley. Smells fishy. This cop must be on Sal Maroney's payroll or something.
The cop said the house looks secure. Kevin not locking the door has nothing to do with what you said. Cops don't have the right to just enter someone's house unexpectedly.
Kevin had no idea when Harry and Marv would be back, right? So he's been puppeteering this Christmas party all night in anticipation of their arrival? I admire his stamina, but I don't know if he can keep this charade up all night long, given he'll have no idea if they drove by or not.
Again, Jeremy is manipulating scenes. He said all that if the next scene where Kevin looks out the window to see Harry and Marv leaving.
Pizza Kid runs off thinking he's getting shot at, and never calls the cops about the crazy man with the Tommy gun that lives in the McAllister house.
Sitting this scene.
It's awesome that Kevin's adjusted to life on his own and all, but why would he have this much laundry after 2 days by himself?
Or maybe Kevin is washing laundry for other members of the family.
Earlier, Kevin decided to open the pack of firecrackers he found in Buzz's room and put them in this kitchen drawer, because his ability to predict what these burglars will do is basically at a supernatural level.
Again, Jeremy is manipulating scenes. He cut out a scene where it was shown that Marv was trying to break into the McAllister's house, and Kevin played the VHS tape and lit the firecrackers to scare off Marv.
How you feel about your family is a complicated thing.
Rather than inquire as to why an 8-year-old is wandering around on Christmas Eve and attempting to help, Marley launches into his own bull sob story.
Sitting a heartwarming scene.
This is my house. I have to defend it.
Sure, but you could also just call the goddamn cops as soon as the robbers show up, rather than design a Saw-like torture house.
Yeah, if Kevin called the cops, we wouldn't have one of the best parts of the movie.
Not only did Kevin have time to develop this pain map in less than 1 hour, he found time to colorize it.
Jeremy points out things on the screen cliche.
Water is poured on the sidewalk, but Kevin is out here in just a sweater, so it's highly unlikely this would freeze in time for Harry and Marv to show up.
CinemaSins doesn't know how water works. If there's snow on the ground, it is cold enough for water to freeze on the ground, including the steps.
Idiot kid tries to eat mac and cheese with a knife and fork.
Can you shut the f*** up?
Yes!
At this point, the burglars should call the cops on this psychotic little bastard that openly rejoices after shooting people in the face.
Jeremy thinks 2 burglars is capable of calling the cops on an 8-year-old after getting shot in the nuts and or in the face.
Kevin's macabre prediction relies not only on the fact that Marv would pull this chain even though there's a light on behind him, but that he would be incapable of getting out of the way of this slowly falling iron.
The light behind Marv isn't bright enough for him to navigate the still dark basement. Also, sitting this scene.
It should be noted that Harry is breaking and entering in full view of the rest of the block, which we've seen has several parties going on. You're telling me no one's outside on a smoke break and noticed the bad dude trying to break into the nice house?
I'll let the Birdman handle this.
This movie does not show there are several parties going on. You just made that up. In fact, Harry pointing out the lights of a few houses on the block suggests that quite a few families aren't even home right now, and the one across the street is shown to be empty when Kevin runs there.
It's too late for you, kid. We're already in the house. We're gonna get you.
Okay, come and get me.
Like, you've probably served hard time and maybe even killed people before, but wait till you witness the power of my feather fan.
Yeah, but it worked, didn't it? Also, sitting this scene.
You bomb me with one more can, kid, and I'll snap off your cojones and boil the motor oil!
Who the f*** makes a hilariously specific threat like this?
That's the joke.
Tarantula Ex Machina.
Jeremy misuses the term Deus Ex Machina cliche.
How long does it take these cops to respond? Since Kevin called them, we've been through the spider scene, the treehouse thing, the rope gag, ran across the street, through the capture and liberation of Kevin, and now he's back home. Imagine if this were a real emergency.
A quick Google search shows that cop responses, including in Chicago, take 5 minutes and 33 seconds.
Through the years we all will be together.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas playing during emotional moment cliche.
Again, sitting a heartwarming scene.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.